I have a little video for you showing you a few hints and tips to make the perfect granny square. I have eliminated chain and used standing stitches on these. And I've given you a few little hints on changing colour and just how to make them really nice and neat and perfect as possible. So watch on.
Okay, so we're going to start with quite a frugal end. We always start with a slip stitch. We start with a slip stitch that tightens with the working yarn, not with the tail. This is a very common mistake. There's nothing to anchor that knot in there. If it's tightening with this, it will loosen and the center of your granny square will come out. So make sure that your slip knot tightens with your working yarn. I'm just going to do 5. The norm with these is 6, but 5 for this will work perfectly because I am eliminating some chains. Slip stitch in the first one, so just through and through. It makes a ring. So what I do is I do a standing stitch. So all I do for my standing stitch, I pull this up to about the height of my stitch, put my finger on there so it doesn't move, yarn over hook, and then through that gap, I'm just going to get a needle. I'm going to put my needle, hang on, this one here. I'm going to collect this and I'm actually going to go back through here and around. So I'm going to grab that, go back through there, not through the stitch on my needle, and around. And now I have 2 on my hook, yarn over hook, and draw through 2. And that gives us a neat looking standing stitch rather than the chain. And what I do, instead of doing the group of 3 at the start, I will just do a group of 2 and we'll put our third one in next to it, and that will hide that stitch that's not exactly the same as the others. I'm just going to put 2 chains in the corner here, and we're just going to do the rest of our square as normal until we get around. I am just going to crochet over that end just to get it out of my way right now. I'll do 3, 2 chain for the corner. So you'll notice that when we come back through here, we keep our hook low. We don't pull up. We keep our hook low here. That'll give us a nice tension. It will stop the square from getting a little skew on it. 1, 2. So that's 1 group, full group, 2 full groups, and our starting group. I'll put 1 more group in here. This mini marble is so nice to work with. It's really, really soft. It's got that slight little bit of fluffiness to it. 2 chain. Oh, we're playing yarn chicken. Look at that. I did measure it. So now we're going to put our last one in. So that'll be the one that belongs to our group of 2. Oh, we're going to be just going to make it 2 chain. Oh, sorry, we don't need chain because we have 2 chain. That's not a very good demo, is it? All right, back to our treble. So all we're going to do now is we're going to slip stitch, and if we turn that over, because this stitch was a standing stitch, I'm actually going to work into this stitch here. So if I turn that up, you can see there's the standing stitch, there's that one. So all I'm going to do is slip stitch into that one, yarn over hook, slip stitch, yarn over hook, and draw that through. So now that one there was that standing stitch, and I've hidden that in the center, and look, you can almost, and I'll see if I can get a little closer. Yeah, there we go. Barely tell, and it looks much neater than putting the 3 chain in. So for the next round, what I'll do is I'll show you the next round in a different colour, but I'll also do another video where we're going to do the same colour and how we go up a row when we have started in a weird spot, how we're going to get to here, what we're going to do to get that to work. So I'll just start this next round. There's no particular magic here. There goes my hook. So same thing, slip stitch the tightens with the working yarn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a standing stitch again, but the other one was a standing stitch that was joined. This is a standing stitch that's not joined, so it's starting with a new yarn. So yarn over hook, hold that through the corner, bring it through, so you've got your 3 on your hook, yarn over hook, draw through 2, yarn over hook, draw through 2. So that's our standing stitch. And I'm going to do like I did before, and I'm going to do an incomplete one here. So what I'll do is I'll bring that around. I'm not going to put a chain between the groups, and we're going to work straight into this next corner. Bear with me momentarily while I just get around here. And I'm only putting 2 chains in the corner. Most granny squares will have a chain between and 3 chains in the corner. I am trying to be quite frugal with the yarn in this project. So it should, providing everything sits flat, it's fine. If it doesn't fit flat, depending on how you make your chain, you may need to add that extra chain in the corner to keep it flat. I'll just progress to the end till we're just about to finish. All right, so this corner here still needs 3 treble, 2 chain, and 1 more treble, and that should look fairly neat by joining it in that, hiding that join, and by doing the standing stitch rather than the 3 chain that most patterns will recommend. 1 more treble in here. All right, so you can see that we've got there from before. So I'm going to join, I could join into here, but it might end up a bit baggy. I'm going to join into here as we did in the one below, and that just pulls everything together nicely. And there, that is a fairly anomaly free little square. So some people, if they're going to do further rounds, will turn and go back the other way. If your tension is firm through here, so you're not pulling those legs up, and if you're eliminating some of the chains, it shouldn't go skewy as it gets bigger. It's usually if you're loose, because see how this stitch naturally has a lean to the left? So sometimes that lean to the left can create a spiral, and you may need to go back the other way. If I was going to start this square, because we're in the middle of a group, if I wanted to move this to start the same colour again, what I would do is I would just slip stitch into here. So I have an anchor point into here. I would do a standing stitch like we did before, and then I would do the rest of my group into here. I would just do the 2. So when I've come back around, I would put the extra one in there, and that would give me an anomaly free a space, a little square, sorry. So there's that. Probably could have been done a little bit neater. Obviously my slip stitch wasn't tight enough, so let's just tighten up our slip stitch. So do the same as we did before, draw that up, hold on to it, yarn over hook. We're going to put our hook out through the back and around and yarn over hook. That's neater in there. I just didn't tighten that one up far enough. So that, there we go. That's pretty neat for a second round. If you're worried that you're going to go skewy, then what we can do is we can do exactly the same as what we did. But the thing is, sometimes where our join is, let's pull that one back out. Sometimes where our join is, you might find that if you slip stitch into, this is the back on the other side, slip stitch into here turn it around, do your standing stitch here. Because it's right on the edge of this hole, do your standing stitch here and then go into this corner. When you come around, do 2 on this side. So it'll be a standing stitch and then the 2, and that can neaten that up if you want to go back the other way. Some people will try and squash the 3 stitches into here. I don't particularly like that. I think it leaves too much of an anomaly. I would rather put 1 stitch here and work around and put the 2 next to it to try and hide it as much as possible. So I'm hoping that those couple of little hints, so the main things here were the 2 different types of standing stitch, the one where your yarn is already attached and the one where your yarn is not attached. So there's 2 different standing stitches. The hiding of your joining, so whether it's a chain or a standing stitch, the hiding of that into a group. The eliminating of some chains, so I've taken out 1 chain here and I've taken out 1 chain here, and that just gives us quite a neat little compact square. The other thing that you can do, once you've done your slip stitch and we want to finish off, if you pull your yarn up and this loop to the height of how long your tail you want to be, I'm going to be frugal with my tail. So if that's where my tail needs to be, I haven't got my scissors, of course. So then if I snip that there, can pull that one out, and then I've done a nice measurement of my tail, and it's just a simple way of getting it tight and not using too much yarn up for your tail. I mean, my preference would be, if I was sewing in normally, just to leave a little more, but I am trying to be frugal with this particular yarn. So that's, and being frugal, I had 1 little square here. There we go. And look, in the scheme of things, this one here, I ran out. See, it's missing a stitch here. So all I've done is I've added 1 extra chain in the corner to compensate for that. Once it gets the other round on it, no one's ever going to notice it in the scheme of a big project, the fact that it was missing 1 stitch. I may have been able to pull that back and tighten everything up just a little smidge, just being a little firmer to get that out. But in the scheme of things, I think it'll look fine.